Okay, the first thing come to my mind is adaptability.
Right.
Yeah, so it is always important in this dynamic world where it is fast growing when it comes to either the technology or it can be the regulatory landscape, the
True.
overall globalization. We have to make sure the all of us should be adaptable, should be highly adaptable.
Hello and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Priya George, and today we have a very special guest, someone whose career has not only been defined by technical mastery, but also by a relentless commitment to excellence in the life sciences sector. Our guest today is Mrs. Shamal Sapale, a seasoned leader with over 37 years of experience in the biopharmaceutical and biotech industries. Mrs. Sapale has been at the forefront of driving deployment of quality management, quality compliance, validation across some of the most complex and critical projects in the pharmaceutical fields and gearing up the manufacturing facility for operational readiness and improving operational efficiency. But beyond the impressive technical expertise, Mrs. Sapale is a passionate advocate for change with a deep commitment to nurturing talent and creating quality culture, continuous improvement, and assured business sustainability. Today, we'll dive into her incredible journey, her thoughts on the future of life sciences, and the principles that guide her in her quest to raise standards and deliver lasting impact. Mrs. Sapale, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for such a wonderful introduction. I'm highly delighted with this.
Mrs. Sapale, with an impressive 37-year career in the life sciences and biopharmaceuticals, you've clearly seen the evolvement in the life science industry. So, as you look back on your journey from your early days to where you are now, what key experiences or milestones do you feel have most defined your career and shaped your approach to leadership and innovation in this field?
Thank you. Uh, to start with, I would like to let you know that I started my career with Procter Gamble. I was very fortunate to join the organization, which was highly professional. Also, not in the professional for the doing business, but as well managing their competent resources and the entire setup. With that, actually, I started my career in Procter Gamble as in research and development. And while doing the product development, I got an opportunity to work on the global projects for product development, and also got the opportunity to work with cross-functional teams like marketing, sales and administration, products research, technical support organization, quality control, and that really gave me lots of confidence to really effective handle the stakeholders and the cross work effectively with the cross-functional team. While doing that, actually, it was a wonderful experience to do the product research activity across the region and understand the cultural diversity, their preferences of the patients and the consumers across the various regions. And that was something the best. I was getting the flavor of the region where I can really leverage my expertise by building their preferences in the product development as part of the product design. So that gave the confidence by joining the lots of market research activities as well as brainstorming sessions with the patients, consumers to understand their unmet needs and incorporate that into the product design at the early stage of the product and take it forward. Going forward, actually, since like I was part of the research and development and where we did not have the we not have the stringent regulations for research and development. But as you know that in the industry, there are lots of evolutions happen. And then there was a requirement for research and development to adhere to the certain regulatory JMP standards. And then I really played a pivotal role there to actually lead the entire organization, R&D organization, to build a quality culture and involve them very actively for getting into the quality deployment program by imbibing the quality culture across the organization, right from the top management to the junior resource. And that really gave me lots of confidence to how to build a team, work across the entire organization, as well the internal stakeholders and external stakeholders, to make sure that we do really be successful in driving this quality management program, and to meet the quality global like corporate quality standards. And and that only it's not only for it was restricted to our R&D organization, but because we were successful to achieve the quality capability to 97% in just one go. Actually, I was being given the responsibility to lead our other regional centers in Philippines and Japan, where we can apply the model, and they also can achieve the quality capability. And that was something really a wonderful experience, and gave me lots of confidence, and it really boosted my career. And that was mainly because of the dedication and the passion which I had, and the trust and confidence from my superiors to lead such prestigious program, and really got a very wonderful experience, and also which resulted into the like excellent business results also. Moving forward, actually, I had diversified my career as our R&D organization was closed. And then when I moved to the engineering consultancy, that was a big decision for me to really diversify. But I really am very thankful to my profession, which is the bachelor's in pharmacy, and also after taking so many various allied courses, which really helped my distinct career. And I could really enjoy that, because as being the research and development person, I always had the like urge, and always have this to mainly to learn new every time. And that really did not stop my career, and I really in fact took that as a challenge. And I was like, after since 2001 I'm into the engineering consultancy, where I also use the professional background, which was the pharmaceutical engineering, which was part of my academics, and I really started applying practically into my engineering consultancy experience by doing lots of project management, the conceptual design, deploying the establishing quality management systems, and deploying the quality programs and the validation program by defining the validation strategy, the compliance strategy, to make sure we achieve the business results. And this also helped because of my experience with Procter Gamble, that was mainly to develop the soft skills, which was like effective communication, leadership skills, negotiations, work across various cultures like globally, and also have like effective client management, that really helped me to take it forward in my future career. So I'm very fortunate. I'm very happy about the kind of opportunities which I got, and which I could not only develop my professional career, but along with, I also, because of the soft skills which I got, I could also make sure I'm building the organization, building the business organization capability by building my teams, also by effective team management, effective team dynamics, having the very healthy culture across the organization, good mentorship, and by giving knowledge to my team members, so where they always enjoyed to work very effectively for whichever program which we are leading. So it was really we could really do handle lots of complex projects because of that, and by keeping the quality focus. And we always were fortunate to have the client satisfaction at the highest. Like that was something, the key I can say for my entire career, which really helped me to build
Right.
organization capability and getting trust and confidence from my organization that I can be a good leader, considered to be a
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it is clear that your uh, earlier days in your career were driven by resilience, a lot of challenges which you overcame with vision and determination, resilience, work ethic. And it's truly inspiring to hear how those early experiences shaped your leadership approach. So thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Moving on, Mrs. Sapale, having worked on the global capital projects, faced numerous complex challenges, particularly around maintaining high compliance standards and ensuring client satisfaction. So,
Right.
could you share some of the unique hurdles you've encountered and how you turned them into opportunities for growth and improvement, both for your teams and the projects that you've led?
Yeah, actually here there might be some repetition because one of the challenge which I mentioned to you as part of
Yes.
R&D in Procter Gamble, there was no culture of, like, we did not have certain adherence to GMP requirement when we are doing the product
Yes.
research activity. And so that was a totally new concept, and there was lots of resistance from, because most of them are scientists, they are like very highly concentrated on their research activities. So when we come to some kind of streamlining certain activities or like standardizing certain activities, there was lots of resistance. So when I took up
Resistance.
this responsibility, it was a nightmare, and it was really like very challenging to handle this
Hmm.
complex situation. And where I found like I could easily overcome that because of my interpersonal skills, the effective team dynamics, and getting
Hmm.
confidence to each and every team member by having effective stakeholder management. That really helped. And while doing that, what it was done, like it's very important that knowledge sharing. Okay, we have to really be proactive. You have to make sure that you are keeping your expectations upfront with your team. Let them. We should go along. It's not that I should do the journey alone. It is the team we have
Correct.
to take that agenda forward, and all of us have to meet that objective. So it is not my personal goal, it is the business goal, this is company
Teams.
goal, and everybody should buy that. Where I could really convince, I conducted lots of trainings across the in our organization, in our research and development. Not only that, I did conduct training across various functions. So I also took the cross-functional team in that journey along with me, and it had become the entire like organizations like it can organizations objective. It was not my own personal objective, and with that it was really successful because everybody was into that program, and that really gave lots of excellent results, and we really could get compliance with global quality standards. And it was in a very optimal time by using the optimal efforts and the resources. This is one. Apart from that, there was another challenge when we actually I had to work on one of the capital projects for biopharmaceutical biocon. If you know, it is a very big
Yes.
company, and that was a prestigious project, and it was a like greenfield project, and they had to make sure that their facility is validated within like stipulated time. And there were like lots of major systems. And when we started with, we first like as a proactive approach, it is always important to the feasibility, to do the risk assessment, to take the note of what is the current status and where are the gaps, so where we can improve upon, but having that particular checklist. So the proactive approach really helped to find where are we and what is that we have
Hmm.
to do to achieve the success. And while doing that, it was very important that I had to take all the team members, not only from as part of NNE team, but also from the Biocon, as well the stakeholders, which are the vendors. Because since considering this
Right.
validation, like I had to take all these internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders in confidence. Yeah, all I had to get them all together at one on one platform, and then we started our journey together. Because it is always important that when you are doing this validation, it is not that it can be done just in isolation. It is a it's kind of collaborative efforts from all the various cross-functional team as well as external stakeholders. While doing that, I always had focus on quality. When we say about
Right.
quality, it is not like quality, make sure that quality is not your own responsibility. That should be considered as everyone's responsibility. Everyone is
True.
accountable for quality. That is something very
Agreed.
important. Once everybody understands that accountability by doing some case studies, then they will realize the importance of why they are part of, they are also accountable for this. So once that is done, which like has to be done right at the first stage. Also important that not only while having quality focus, also important that client always needs value addition. And if you do that value addition, so that really you really build lots of confidence from the client,
Yes. A
and that really
relationship
helps.
with the client.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that really helps. So that kind of leadership role which I have taken to define certain strategies, being proactive, taking all the stakeholders at one platform and making sure to drive this program as a entire organization. It's not either Biocon or NNE or the various stakeholders, vendors. It is all
Like
of
a
us
common
driving.
vision.
Yeah, all of us were driving together, and that really
True.
helped. And it was a massive project. It was and we
Wonderful.
really were successful doing that exercise by integrating the commissioning and qualification approach, leveraging approach, and using quality by design and more proactive
Right.
approach. We could really deliver it in time, and the Biocon got the prestigious ISP award, Facility of the Year award, for this particular project. So we were like
That's
very,
incredible.
yeah, it was really a great, and it's not only the appreciation just for us, it is like for the entire NNE, it is for the Biocon as well as for the stakeholders, because it was a collaborative
Yes.
effort. It's not just efforts from one,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that is something, a
Absolutely.
great achievement I could feel by doing
Absolutely.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you maintained the idea of a common vision. That is something I noticed in both your responses, like
Right.
leading the team, the entire team, the community with a common vision. So that's really incredible. And
Yeah.
it's fascinating how you turned those challenges into opportunities for growth. So
Right.
your ability to navigate complex global projects really speaks volume of your leadership. Mrs.
You.
Sapale, with over 3 decades of experience in quality assurance and compliance, you've seen how the landscape in life sciences industry has evolved and the increasing complexity of regulatory requirements, which you had stressed in your first response as well. In your view, what do you believe is the one essential skill or one quality that professionals in this industry must cultivate to not just keep up, but also really thrive in today's fast changing environment?
Okay. The first thing come to my mind is adaptability.
Right.
Yeah. So it is always important in this dynamic world where it is fast growing, when it comes to either the technology or it can be the regulatory landscape, the
True.
overall globalization. We have to make sure the all of us should be adaptable, should be highly adaptable, along with our technical knowledge, or it can be functional expertise, or it can be
True.
soft skills. We have to be adaptable to make sure that we do learn, and we are always we are always ready to learn new technologies, the regulations which are changing, the ethical standards, the sustainable ESG governance standards, whatever is changing, we have to make sure how we can really make sure that we do really understand. At the same time, it's important that it flows. You take the leadership and flow it across the organization for more sustainable results. That is something very important. That is the first thing which I will say adaptability is very important because, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a very important point that you made. Keeping up with the changing times, I think it's very crucial, regardless of the sector. I think that is key. And I
Yeah.
completely agree with what you said. It's fascinating how crucial that the ability to adapt is, especially in an industry that's changing so rapidly. Mrs. Sapale, with your extensive experience in asset and reliability management, you've likely seen how crucial asset management is for improving operational efficiency. From your perspective, how can organizations in these sectors harness the power of asset management to streamline operations, boost productivity, and maintain compliance?
Yeah, it's very important. It's very crucial to any industry. It's not only for pharmaceutical or biotech. It is across all the industries. This is very important aspect to be considered and to be focused and to be championed. So when it comes to asset management and reliability, it is more of proactive approach, which really makes sure that, like the way you say that quality by design. Similarly, like you should have certain aspect that, like for example, it can be preventive maintenance, it can be automation, or it can be continuous monitoring. These are part of asset management reliability. It also makes sure that by having the asset management reliability program in place, you are continuously monitoring your manufacturing processes, your business processes, and you are having the measures to make sure that there is no any downtime or there is no any failure. And if there is a failure, if it is already like anticipated by doing the predictive analysis, you can definitely understand what is the mitigation which you should have so that you will have your downtime very much minimized, which will really help to boost your operational efficiency. Make sure that you are not like, because of not having downtime, your resources are also there is lots of resource allocation, which is really optimized. And also overall, it can help you for better production planning, the scheduling, and meeting the production target for the business requirement, which will also make sure that you are having your all the all the staff who are always trained on the required quality management system, required asset management program, how to navigate this asset management program for predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, and reduce the downtime and boost the operational efficiency by better production planning, scheduling, and optimizing the resources. So that is the key thing for asset management reliability. So it's very important that company, each and every organization should understand this proactive approach. It's not that you have to repair after the damage is done. Rather, have the preventive maintenance. You should have the continuous monitoring in process by having the required automation and take the advantage of the latest technologies, which really help us that the entire the asset management program can be done on the cloud platform, and it can be managed globally. So whether your client or your customers are at different location in region or in globe, everything can be monitored by even the your system vendors also can monitor if there is any possibility that there can be some kind of like there can be some kind of preventive measure to be taken. They can guide you in advance by having certain asset management reliability program, and which really gives you the robust like operational operational program, which helps the operational efficiency, and you can meet the business target for the, and you can be very competent in the current highly competitive market, and you can be faster also because of that. It's not low, it's, you can be faster because you really reduce lots of downtime, optimize your resources and cost and time, so you can be faster to
Understood.
market. That is the unique benefit, and which everybody should really, it's a significant, and everybody should take that into consideration. Yeah.
So thank you for your response, Mrs. Sapale. It's incredible how asset management isn't just about maintaining equipment, but it's at the heart of keeping everything running smoothly and efficiently in
Right.
such a regulated and high stakes industry. As you look to the future, both professionally and personally, what are the key aspirations that drive you forward? And in addition to that, with your extensive background in asset management and operational efficiency, how do you envision transitioning to boardroom roles, and what kind of impact or legacy would you like to have at that level?
It's very important and it's very crucial, as you know that there is, in most of the industries, like it's very important to really have the awareness. So as part of the consultant, I would make sure that it's very important that we have to create that awareness to the various organization, to make sure that how they can buy this kind of asset management reliability program, and which is not an investment, because they consider that investment means just a manufacturing the product
True.
and selling it to the market. That is not only the business objective or business goal. It's very important that in the entire project life cycle and the product life cycle, we have to really optimize our efforts, not only for the money, but also for time as well as resources, to make it in holistic way the project very viable and successful, and where you can really meet the high competitive market demand. That is something very
True.
important. So as a consultant, I would definitely appreciate that increase this awareness to the, like, it's not only for the high multinational, like you come in the top top tier, but also to the other organization. And once they understand the importance of this, that how that investment is going to be long term success for their business. It is not just short term,
Correct.
long term success for their business, and they should be ready to take up this asset management reliability program by doing investment in training their resources, for having the
True.
certain applications or having certain softwares, and training the people in those softwares, and really taking that in a very dedicated way to have some long by having some kind of time to ensure that they are getting the business results. It cannot be achieved immediately. It has to take some time. So that kind of patience is required. But once it is there,
Correct.
definitely they can see the fruits of, they can really get the fruits of the entire exercise. And then,
Right.
yeah, so that is something very important. Yeah.
But do you see yourself in the role of a mentor? I know you've conducted trainings across, different levels in the industry. But so, do you look for yourself? Is it a vision for yourself, like in a mentorship role, or adding more value to the boardroom? Like you've already come with years and decades of experience. So, do
Yeah.
you see yourself in roles such as these?
Yes, you can definitely drive this. There are a lot many platforms which are available. One is,
True,
like, you can say the, since COVID time, actually everybody has got that kind of boon that we can really
true.
reach out to the
Reach
large
out.
consumer, large
Yes,
customers or the client, and we can
true,
conduct such webinars where you can really build this kind of awareness by having lots of conferences where we know that there are key
true,
people who are the decision makers, because here it is very
true,
important to
true,
have the decision makers in the should be there in the conferences or the seminars,
true. Boardrooms,
because
yes.
so it is, one is like we have to make sure that they are ready to take such decision, and they are ready to take that organization can take it at all levels to be part of that particular program. So that is
True.
something very important. And if we do that by having really identifying certain conferences, like for example, ISP, or it can be ASTM. These are the conferences like PDA. These are the one which are like very important, like to good platforms where we get lots of good decision makers who are there in the conferences, and you can really, they should be important to have the case studies, because everybody wants to see how you can make sure that, okay, this has really turned into the
Work, yeah.
yeah. So that is something very important to build a
Right.
confidence. And if you have to do that,
Absolutely.
you should really have good case studies for any kind of for it is for asset management reliability, or it can be for operational readiness, like how your operational readiness by having the robust quality management system program that has turned into the
Right.
success by optimizing the time by so many percentage, increasing the efficiency by so many percentage, by reducing the product. Of course, company is, and every organization is having the product quality measures as a annual program which is done. It's not that it is always there, but there is always opportunity to for improvement for the even better results. And if you do
True.
that, we
True.
can see that there is a marginally it will change, and which will really turn into the significant growth for the organization. So which is
Absolutely.
in highly competitive era, it's a very important that we have to really have edge on what we are doing to really,
Correct.
that is something important. So
Correct.
we can definitely get edge over by having
Yes.
this kind of practices. Yeah.
Right. And it's inspiring to hear your vision, and your focus on continued growth and making a strategic impact just shows how passionate you are about the future of the industry. Which brings me to a very important question, which is related to ESG.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sapale, ESG is becoming a key focus for organizations across the globe. You have come from a time where even regulations in the pharma industry were something that you had to kind of introduce and, introduce like a change mindset in the members of your team.
Yeah.
So, how do you see ESG initiatives impacting the pharmaceutical and biotech sectors? And what role do you think leaders like yourself can play in driving these changes?
Okay. It's when you talk about ESG, ESG is not something standalone and which has come in picture only right now. Now it is mainly the awareness, considering the
Awareness.
business value. It has become more predominant, and again that is why it is coming, because of the competitive age, the revolving
True.
regulatory landscape. It can be for environment, it can be for social impact, it can be for the regulatory governance. For everything, it is have become very dynamic, and it has become like it's very important. The stakeholders, we have to satisfy the stakeholders, and how you can get this stakeholder value, high stakeholder value by, and that's why this has come in picture, where like earlier in the annual report they used to have only the financial report. Now, if you have to make sure that you are satisfying the demand of stakeholders, which can be the shareholders, it can be for the promoters, investors, or it can be for the suppliers and vendors. If it has to be done that, we have to make sure that we are really having a strong, robust ESG program in place. And you make sure that we are reporting these ESG initiatives, which can be for the environmental impact, for the social impact, or for the social governance, ethical aspect in your annual report. That has become
Correct.
mandatory. And if this has become mandatory, but then since there are not having so many technical expertise earlier considered for this kind of annual report, it was totally focused with the financial. Now where this technical expertise really come in picture. And when you talk about ESG, it start from the right at the beginning of the product life cycle. I'll just give import link for that. When you talk about ESG, how that is important for as a product. Since I got the liberty to work from product development to the manufacturing to the supply chain, I really have a good essence of this ESG, because when you talk about product development, it starts from your consumer research. It starts from your
Correct.
clinical trials. When you talk about
Surveys.
consumer
Yeah.
research or the clinical trials or patient advocacy, okay, how it is important, because when you're doing the consumer research, you have to consider the diversified population. You have to consider the diversity, like you have to consider the both the sex, means all the sexes. You have to consider that it is done across different regions to understand the cultural differences, to understand their unmet needs or the requirements. So it has to be done across vast demographic. You should have the demographic design for that, for conducting your consumer research, which is market research, or it can be for clinical trials. At the same time, it's also important that you have to consider while designing these programs or designing these studies, you have to make sure that you are taking into consideration the regulatory aspect. I can give example when I have worked as in Procter and Gamble. It is mainly the FMCG. It was not a ethical. It was not like so. With that, for this company, we are having the OTC product, which are the over the counter products. So that is not coming by the doctor's prescription. So also we will consider that there are no rules or something, but it's very important. We are doing the focus groups or we are doing the brainstorming. We have to make sure that certain claims we are making into that concept to understand the consumer, identifying the consumer needs, or to understand the unmet consumer need, or what is in that case, we have to make sure that the product which we are talking about, the ingredients which we have considered, whether the claims which we are making, those are compliance with the regulatory requirement, whether we can make those claims, because you can see there are lots of litigation happening because advertising doing wrong claims, and then they have to take product out of the market, and that is a big business loss. Okay. Correct. So we have to be we have to be really advised here we really work as in collaboration with marketing, because as a technical expert, we do give that expertise saying that, no, we can make only these claims. We cannot make this claim with that particular ingredient. And if we need to have this, we should have product with this particular ingredient. Correct. That starts at the initial stage of the product design. Then while this is for the FMCG product, when you come to the ethical market, when you're having the prescription product, in that case, it's very important that when we conduct the clinical trial, we do follow the ethical considerations. First of all, the design, the clinical design which is done, which is in compliance with the global ethical standards. It is approved by the ethical committee. At the same time, biodiversity is also considered. So the product which you are putting into the market for clinical trial is taking care of the various demographics, the sex, as well the cultural differences and the requirement. At the same time, wherever you have to market that product, maybe in future, you are making sure that you are doing this test across various regions, so that you will get you will get compliance with all the global regulatory standards and the clinical standards. So this is something very important. And I'm really again fortunate because I had really diversified experience by doing various kind of studying various courses like I had done, because it was my passion to get into clinical. So I have done the clinical trial research and research clinical trial, being part of the ethical committee for clinical trial. And that really helped actually. And with that, actually, I could really do the pivotal role for writing the clinical, writing the clinical test, and getting the consent from all the consultants who are can be for example, the product is for something for asthma. We have to meet lots of various consultants, which are for the lung specialist. And so I used to go to various consultants, take their insights, whether this is right to put it in the considered in the clinical, in the design, or whether it's something because they are seeing the patients day and night, day and out, and then they know what is that which you should really focus on while conducting this particular trial. What kind of testing should be there, and that kind of knowledge or insights from the various consultants, that also helps. So this is part of the clinical. So it's very important that we have to meet all the regulatory requirement as well as ethical considerations. This is something very important. But there again, it's a diversity is very important. And yes. And patient advocacy is also important. We have to educate the patients also. to make the social awareness for any particular product. So that is also important.
Correct.
As part of this, as ESG, that is also important. It is about when you talk about asset management reliability. This is also having pivotal role for the sustainability. When you talk about when you talk about asset management reliability, as I mentioned earlier, it helps for reducing downtime, reducing the increasing operational efficiency, optimizing the resources, which really helps for the entire sustainability of the business. Also, you can really have the high lifetime of the manufacturing equipment, so that because you are really maintaining it throughout, periodic maintenance is there, where you are not really getting into the shutdown mode, because the particular equipment is maintained. Your processes are monitored continuously, so you are not really getting high failure rate. It is acceptable because you are already having your mitigation plans in place, and which will really help your the manufacturing processes are also optimized, your product is optimized, your equipment are validated, and hence and your asset management reliability program is very robust by having high predictive maintenance. So this is something also really plays a lot into the sustainability part.
Right. So thank you for adding that extra nugget of information to the earlier response. Yes. As we near the end of our interview, Mrs. Sapale, joining Directors Institute is a significant step in many professionals' careers. Yeah. So could you share with us what motivated you to become a member and how you envision this experience enhancing your leadership journey?
Okay. Actually, I was really fascinated to have that understanding because I was earlier not knowing about this independent director part. But when I came to know about this ESG part specifically, I thought definitely I can add lots of value by being the board of members as a technical expertise. So, which is currently, I can feel that which is currently not to the standard, it is there, but I will not say it is to the standard because that awareness was not there. And now it has become mandatory for any for the various organizations. It can be public company, it can be the private company. For everyone, there is a high demand for this. So I thought, why not to leverage my knowledge and expertise and be part of this independent director, where I can also, of course, learn a lot from the experiences from the SMEs which we have as part of the who are already part of this institute, and learn more from that, and I can leverage further by being part of the board of directors. Absolutely. Yeah. And we wish you nothing but continued success. It's wonderful to hear how Directors Institute aligns with your aspirations and the value it brings to your leadership journey and the value you are adding as well. So, Mrs. Sapale, thank you once again for joining us today and sharing your invaluable experiences and insights. It's been such a privilege hearing about your journey, your expertise in driving business success, and your commitment to leadership. And I'm sure our listeners have gained so much from this conversation. So thank you for being with us on FaceTime with Leaders. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. From Independent Director Institute, it's really wonderful to enter into this career. Thank you once again for being with us. And for our listeners, I'm sure you've gained so much from this conversation as we have too. And to all our audience members, again, thank you for tuning into this episode of FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by the Directors Institute World Council of Directors. So stay connected with us for more such enriching conversations with remarkable leaders. Until next time, continue striving for excellence and making a positive impact. Until next time, take care and thank you.